Welcome back to today's Photo Minute. My name is Brian Osborne of the Photo Classroom, and you probably noticed that we're in a little bit different situation. Indeed we are. We're in Brevard, North Carolina, beautiful edge of the mountains here, and actually I have a new production assistant with me. My daughter Emma Osborne is here helping, and we are actually on location to do some exterior images for this hotel. This hotel is a great client of ours and actually has been the host hotel of our waterfall expedition that we have done for almost 17, 18 years. We've been on location here in the fall for our waterfall trip. And so we're here today to take some pictures for them of the exterior. They just had just completed a remodel. It's just beautiful. And I wanted to introduce everybody to a perspective control, or also called a tilt shift lens. It's a specialty lens. Most people think architecture, although I found it useful in a lot of other situations. But it's a lens that allows you to shift one part of the lens separately from the other part where it's mounted to the camera. By doing so, you can actually correct distortion. And I wanted to be able to show that to you actually in the camera during this video. And so I'm going to jump behind the camera and kind of describe for you what we're doing so that you can actually get a feel for what a tilt shift lens does and what it accomplishes in the world of architecture photography. First thing I need to do is make sure I'm focused on the building here. So let's do that. There we go. Okay. And right now I'm pointed straight ahead, which is actually how you're supposed to use this lens primarily. And I'm pointed straight ahead, but the issue is that because it's up on the hill here, I really can't get much of the top of the building in, and I've got way too much foreground with the grass. And so with a regular lens or in a regular situation, what almost everybody would do is they'd actually point the camera up to capture whatever they want to. Let's say I point it up high because I want a lot of that good sky in there. Now the issue with this is you can see, especially if you look at the left and the right sides of the frame, that now I have a leaning building. I have distortion. We call it converging lines. And this is fixable, fairly easily fixable in any type of photo editing program. But the problem with that is that if you're trying to get as much lateral or horizontal space in as you can, and you start to stretch that picture even more with your perspective control in the actual editing itself, you end up losing some image space. You end up losing some building. And so the nice thing about the tilt shift lens is it allows you to correct it, get straight buildings in the actual camera itself. So I'm going to level the camera back out, which should be my starting place. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little gear control on the lens itself and I'm going to start to shift it up. And I can basically shift up. I'm going to go all the way just to show you. That's how high I could actually go. I don't need to go that high, obviously, in this situation. And so I'm going to come back down here. I can actually situate exactly what I want in the picture frame. And now I have no distortion on the left and the right sides of the building. And so the building is still straight because I kept my camera level, but I use the lens to help correct the distortion, the perspective distortion. I'm actually going to snap a few shots here. I'll show those to you online. And that's what a tilt shift lens does. It's a really fun lens to play with. And it allows you to correct distortion in the camera. And especially think of a situation not uncommonly like this, where I can't really back up a whole lot more. If I back up any more, you can't see the train, but I'm going to be way, way, way down the hill, and so I can't get more in the picture of the building. And yet, if I point that camera up and I get that distortion, then I'm going to have to lose some of that top of the building when I stretch it out, when I fix it later in the photo editing software. Hey, I hope this has been helpful. It's kind of a neat tool in the photography world I wanted to introduce you to. Once again, thank you for joining us at today's Photo Minute. My name's Brian Osborne.